Hey, today we're going to talk about 5.16, aquaculture. Take a moment, check out the enduring understanding, look at the learning objective, pause the video, review the essential knowledge, and set up your Cornell notes. So aquaculture is simply, it's kind of like a CAFO, a concentrated animal feeding operation. It's kind of like that, but in the ocean or a lake. It's in a body of water. But what we're doing is we're raising fish or marine organisms. You can have fish, you can have shrimp, you can have lobster, things like this. But we're doing it in like cages that are in the water. So there are benefits. One of the benefit is we're using a very small amount of space, and none of which is land space. I don't know why we would be using land space, it's in the water, but the amount of space is available, so we're not interfering with the open ocean. But another thing is we're helping to reduce the collapse of global fisheries. So when we are raising the animals in cages, we are not catching live natural fish species, and we're not also catching a lot of the bycatch as well. So we're preventing the fishery collapse, but we're also preventing the loss of organisms through bycatch. But some negatives are we are building up waste. The waste products that build up, these fish are in close proximity to each other. So there's a lot of fecal and urine contamination, which really can impact the quality of the water in these areas, especially because we're not containing the water there. The water can go in and out of these cages, so it could affect plants or animals that are living on the shorelines. Because the fish are in such close proximity to each other, the population density is very high. There is a huge potential for spreading of parasites and diseases. So these fish have to have antibiotics administered to them. Now there is a risk of these antibiotics contaminating other parts and other organisms, other parts of the water and other organisms. And another problem is if these fish were to escape. These antibiotics could be spread to other parts of the ocean, but also these fish, a lot of them are either particular like varieties of fish, or some are genetically modified as well. So we don't want them escaping and interfering, competing, or reproducing with the native fish populations, because we really don't want that. We really don't want them to escape for that reason. Now here's an overview. So aquaculture is simply just raising the fish in the aquatic cages. We're going to have increased pathogens, which means we're going to need to add antibiotics, but also these pathogens, these parasites could infect wild populations, which could lead to a biodiversity loss. Aquaculture, we don't want these farmed fish to escape, because if they interact with the wild fish, they may be able to outcompete them, and that could lead to biodiversity loss. We're also going to accumulate a lot of waste products. And this waste accumulation can contribute to eutrophication, which, remember, if this runs off into another body of water, especially we don't want it to contaminate another part of the ocean or another part of a lake, river, or stream. Because if we have eutrophication, we can lead to hypoxia, which is a form of biodiversity or can contribute to biodiversity loss. And one benefit is this is really efficient. So we're able to get the fish with a little bit less of an energy subsidy. We're also reducing the bycatch, which will preserve global fisheries. And overall, this could improve profits. Another thing, it's reliable. If I want to grow fish in if I want X amount of fish population in X amount of time, I know that it's going to be fairly consistent to grow fish in a confined setting, in a controlled environment. So for your FRQ practice, I would like you to explain one environmental consequence of aquaculture. So I thank you for your attention. I hope this was informative. I will see you soon.